Shalom, call Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to my teachers, start with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and all the men on down respectfully. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Barakatham to the hopefully elect, scattered abroad, whomever they may be. Alright, so I mentioned in the previous video that I would do a video based off, because like I mentioned before, a lot of these YouTubers, these preppers, and other guys are doing let me before getting into distractions. So I mentioned before that a lot of these guys on YouTube are doing videos on their predictions of what would take place in this year of 2021, and I watched quite a few of them, and a lot of these things pretty much lined up with the scriptures. So because like I said before, there's a lot of people that those that actually have a brain to think with some common sense. They know that things pretty much aren't getting any better, so again, a lot of them they make their predictions, and a lot of it is based off the scriptures, and this guy called the Anchor Prepper, I watch him a lot. Makes a lot of valid points. I just decided to use his video because like I said, he a lot of his videos he makes a lot of valid points. So just follow up with what I mentioned in the previous video about doing a video based off this one of these videos based off these guys' predictions for 2021. So I'll play this out, and I don't got nothing lined up, so I'm kind of just gonna flow through the spirit on this one. We'll see where the spirit takes me.
We're going to talk about 5 things to track in 2021. Now, I spoke about some of it in my live stream last night, but I'm going to do a, quicker, shorter video about the things we should be looking out for next year. Now, let's start out with the obvious. The new strain that came from the UK here. I'm really skeptical about that one, only because it just seems like the UK started pushing back. United States, we're starting to push back, and they said, how do we get these people under control? I got it. New variant. Now,
And if you don't know by now, all right, the new strain of the C virus that was found in the UK, supposedly it's already here. This guy Andrew Cuomo did he mentioned, as he was doing his speech or whatever, he mentioned that while he was speaking, the moment he was speaking, there was a plane headed from the UK over to it was either LaGuardia Airport or was that the JFK Airport out there in New York. All right, as he was speaking, and a lot of people are skeptic about it. All right, because for one, Esau, he's being exposed. All right, pretty much people are on Esau's ass, man. Let me get this real quick. Where would that be? Nahum chapter 3 and verse 5. It says, "Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." All right, so you see again, Esau, and the Lord said pretty much he would reveal Esau. All right, and again, that's exactly what's going on. People are waking up to Esau's bullshit. And you got a lot of these nations and these countries rising up against Esau. They want him out of their countries. All right, because everything that Esau spewed out, people are comes to find out it's nothing but a bunch of lies and a bunch of bullshit. All right, so Esau's being exposed as another precept that talks about how terror shall make him afraid. All right, because again, he's being exposed. You see, his plans are being revealed through the spirit. It's like the mouthpiece of Yahweh Shemel Shah, which are the prophets. All right, you know, revealing these things through the spirit. All right, Ezekiel, it's like Isaiah chapter 25, where it talks about the veil being uncovered. This veil that's uncovering the earth. All right, because the Esau has had the covering cast. That's what it says in Ezekiel 25. But Esau has had this world in a spell for some time, and people are detoxing from his madness and departing out of his ways. And again, this is what's making him afraid. And this is why he's going to, because this scripture has been coming out a lot lately, by the elders that I watch, Revelations 12 and 12, that great wrath that is getting ready to come down with, because he knows that he has but a short time. Why is that? Because again, he knows that his kingdom is falling. All right, and people are waking up to his bullshit, and they're rising up against Esau. All right, they're rebelling against Esau. So this is why they got to make the moves quickly. All right. What was I going to get? Oh, Slack here. Because I was going to get this in Second Corinthians 2 and 11. All right, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, because again, going back to what I was mentioning Slack here for me being tongue twisted. All right, on the job, 3 o'clock in the freaking morning. Tired of this shit, but nevertheless, man, gotta push through the shit. But so I was saying, because this guy Andrew Cuomo, he was speaking, and he mentioned as he was speaking, there was a plane from the UK. Now, remind you, this was right when they found out that supposedly this new strain of the C virus found in the UK. All right, and as he was speaking on it, he was mentioning that there was a plane from the UK traveling, basically to the States. So with that being said, at that time, you can assume that it was already here. All right. Now this was, a couple of days ago, like a week ago or something like that. So expect it to already be here. It's already here. Just assume it's already here. All right. But I brought this out not being ignorant of Satan's devices, because if this new strain, they found this new strain, all right, why aren't they shutting the borders down? Because the borders are still open to the UK. Because if they really wanted to prevent this from spreading, they would have immediately shut the borders down. But the borders were still open because they want it over here. This thing is a controlled agenda, man. All right, and again, once it gets over here, which it already is, expect this thing to spread like wildfire. All right, and with that being said, like I've been saying, expect more shutdowns and things of that nature. All right, because this is going to give Esau all the excuse to come down with these shutdowns. They know people are going to buck up. The seditions among men that it speaks about in 2 Ezra 15 chapter. All right, because of what happened with the whole first lockdown. All right, people aren't, for the most part, going to be with this whole second lockdown. I mean, you already got people bucking up now. Restaurant owners, gym owners. All right, they're being told to do one thing, and they're completely going against what is being told of them because they don't care anymore. And you know, again, because this is going to justify them bringing in martial law and things of that nature. Because again, more and more the people will revolt and say the hell with the government and take matters into their own hands. Again, pursuant to Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. All right, the seditions among men. So going back to this video.
The good thing about the new variant that I'm hearing is that it's not deadly or deadlier, if you will. Sorry, but it is more contagious. So you can definitely get it. According to them, you can definitely get it just breathing on somebody. Apparently. Now, that being said, the UK.
Because also, man, again, not being ignorant of Satan's devices. Like if you watch the movie Songbird, all right, the elders that I watch, they constantly bringing that movie out. But if you watch that movie, apparently in the movie, it got to a point because this virus, it mutated. All right, yeah, I believe in the movie it got to like C23 or C24, something like that. Just different mutations, and it got to a point in the movie where it got to a point where it was airborne. All right, unless you didn't have the immunity pass, all right, which that's what they're talking about now, the C pass. All right, um, unless you didn't have the C pass or the immunity pass in the movie, all right, you couldn't come in, you couldn't leave your house or wherever you were established, wherever you were residing, all right. Unless you didn't have the immunity pass, you could not be outside. All right, they had curfews. All right, streets blocked off, military personnel coming door to door, checking temperatures and things of that nature. All right.
Was protesting and pushing back, and then this new variant popped up. United States, the restaurant owners and business owners are pushing back, and now it's here in less than a week, right? So it was found in the UK about 2 weeks ago.
So let me play that
That it
back.
just breathing on somebody, apparently. Now, that being said, the UK was protesting and pushing back, and then this new variant popped up. United States, the restaurant owners and business owners are pushing back, and now it's here.
So you see how you see the pattern, like I just mentioned. Um, Over there in the UK, apparently, all right, restaurant owners and these different businesses and whatnot, they were pushing back, all right, because they were going on a tier 4 lockdown. They were going on a complete lockdown and things of that nature, all right. More shutdowns and the people revolted, and supposedly this strain of the C virus mutated. So that's what's going on here, because like I mentioned, all right, even over here in the States, you got business owners, they're revolting, they're pushing back, and now the C virus the mutated C virus is here. So that's an interesting fact,
In less than a week, right? So it was found in the UK about 2 weeks ago. A week after that, Fauci said it's already here. And then a week after that, it was here in Colorado from a guy who didn't travel anywhere. So how did he get it? Now, I'm not going to dispute whether it be real or not. I'm just disputing the timetable. That's all. The more curious.
Yeah, man, because Esau is getting sloppy. It's getting real sloppy. Mentioning this guy, Dr. Fauci, all right. He got the vaccine live, right, on one arm. And then he's doing an interview after he took the vaccine, about how, basically he's just going into how he feels good, right? But he's rubbing the other arm, the other arm. So he got the vaccine on one arm, but then he's rubbing the other arm. you know, because these devils, man, they're getting sloppy, you know, and more, man, and they're getting exposed, man, and they're fumbling the ball.
Thing about this is, if this guy was tested for it, how did they know to test him? Because if it's not deadlier and there's no new symptoms, how did they wind up testing these people in the UK and Colorado for a new variant? You had to do an actual blood test to find out the new variant, not a nose swab. So that's a little bit weird, but nonetheless.
And on another note, because concerning these tests that they're supposedly doing, because they're coming up with all these numbers, these daily numbers, all right. Just to throw a number out there, they're saying 10,000 people been tested, you know, and you know the results are coming back positive. But on the other hand, they because they've said before that how it takes a couple of days for it to get the results in once you take the test. So that doesn't make sense. If it takes a couple of days to get the results after you've been tested, how are all these people finding out the same day that they've been infected? So you see Esau's sloppiness.
It's here. And if it is as contagious as they're saying it is, then we should take precautions until we find out more about it. So let's not be ignorant and say, fuck it, it's fake. Let's just treat it like it's real. And if it winds up being...
And this thing, man, because one thing, people get it twisted. All right. We don't say it's a fake disease, like there's nothing out there. All right. But the fear that they put, it's a real disease, it's a real sickness or whatever. But it's not all they're saying it is to be. All right. It's more so the fear that they're putting behind it. All right. Because the information has come out about how this virus, all right, it's not more than a common cold, man. You know, but again, it's the fear that they put behind it. You know, getting everyone shook. You know.
fake, then we go, then it's business as usual, right? But if it's not fake and it is more contagious and it is affecting people more severely, then we should take precautions as needed. Other than that, if it winds up being a fake, guys, fuck them. So it's just something that I'm putting on the radar for people to watch, because if this is more contagious, then we should be watching it a lot closely. If it is more severe in illness, we should be watching it a lot closely, because we don't want to be infected and then we're out of commission for a couple days. Nobody wants to be out of commission for a couple days, guys. Nobody wants the flu and nobody wants COVID. That's a fact, right? We all sit there and say, you know, oh man, this is bullshit, the social distancing, this, that, and the third. It is bullshit. But if this new variant is worse in the way we react to it, then we should absolutely be a little smarter and take some precautions like the social distancing, the mask wearing, things like that. And as far as mask wearing goes, you're probably going to need an N95 for this one. So the next thing we're going to track is the New York State Assembly Bill 416.
That's the New York State Assembly Bill 416. All right. And, well, matter of fact, because he explains it a little bit, I'll let him explain it a little bit.
Just ported it over to PDF, so I'm going to put it on last night's live stream, and I'm putting it in the description section below. You guys need to read this. The way it's panning out in the bill, it's panning out as something from Songbird. If you are contagious or you come in contact with somebody or you are a carrier, they're looking to relocate you to a medical facility or a proper facility deemed proper by the governor, if you will, and you'll be relocated there. until you are no longer symptomatic or carrying the virus. Now, it's not pertaining to COVID. It keeps saying communicable diseases or contagious diseases, whatever that is. This bill was pushed yesterday or 2 days ago, but it's set for January 6th of 2021.
So I'll definitely watch that. All right. Again, basically the bill goes into, like he's broke it down. Basically, if you're a carrier, if you've been exposed to anyone with a particular virus that's contagious, they could pretty much, I think it said the governor could pretty much, basically, man, they can detain you, all right, until they deem that you're basically not a threat, all right. So yeah, pretty much, yeah, they can detain you. Cause I skimmed through it. I read some of it, but I didn't, read all of it. But basically, they can detain you until they basically deem you not a threat. All right.
So it was released early, if you will, so that I guess people could take a look at it, and then the procedures take place January 6th moving forward. So there's a lot going down January 6th, guys, and it's.
And what does the scripture say? Concentration camps, right? Just like you mentioned, like the movie Songbird. If you've been exposed, right? They can. Talking about the movie Songbird, if you've been exposed, they can haul you off to I believe it's a quarantine camps in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, until they deem you not a threat. But what does the scripture say? Revelation 2 and verse 10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Why? Because if you put your trust and faith in Yahweh Shema Shai wholeheartedly, he's going to take care of you. All right. Understanding that ultimately the Lord is the one that's in control of this movie. All right. He's allowing whatever to be done, he's allowing it. That the Heavenly Father is allowing it. All right. And that should bring you some type of comfort, because again, ultimately, man, this is all in the control of Yahweh Shema Shai. And I believe, that's what Yahweh Shai told told Esau, man. When they were basically they came up to him talking shit, man. He told them, look, man. Yahweh Shai told him, man, look, man, you can't do shit unless the Heavenly Father ordains it. All right. And that's the spirit that we should, come in when it's all said and done. All right. Because again, it's natural, because the time will come, man, that, they're going to kick doors in, and you're going to have gun barrels in your face and whatnot, man. But, and it's natural that, your flesh is going to be a little shook, man. But that's when the spirit has to kick in, override, and you come to understand these things. You come to remember these things. All right. So that's why we shouldn't have no fear. All right. Because again, ultimately it's the Lord that's, he's going to provide a way. Let me get this 2nd Ezra 16th chapter. All right. Because they're going to come in. All right. And, when they come in, they're not going to be playing around. Second Ezra 16. And verse I start at verse 71. It says, they shall be like mad men. All right. And again, who is this referring to? More so the elites. All right. Again, as I quoted Revelations 12:12. These devils are when they come in with that great wrath. All right. And they get the green light to make their move. All right. Verse 71 says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So you see, because they're going to be kicking doors in, man, and snatching you up, snatching your wife up, snatching your children up. All right. Verse 72 says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So you see, because again, it's written, some of us are going to get taken, some of us are going to get locked up. We're going to be brought before councils, judges, and things of that nature. All right. But again, fret not. Because as the scripture said, man, there's more with us than there is with them. And also, again, being that when that day comes, man, knowing and understanding, pursuant to Isaiah 59:19, the Lord is going to lift up a standard. But going back to Revelations 2:10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So you see. And again, going back to that New York Assembly Bill 416, where they pretty much, well, I'm not going to say it right, but they have the privilege of taking you and throwing you into these centers until basically you're deemed not a threat. All right, so again, some of us are going to get locked up, some of us are going to get taken and hauled off. It says that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And of course, it's easier said than done, man. All right, because again, some of us are going to get martyred. Some of us are going to get locked up. All right, whatever the case may be, man. But just know and understand that the Spirit, Yahweh Shemashah, man, he's going to be with us and he's going to guide us during that time. All right. Because it's going to get bad, man. And you're going to get shooken up, man. So going back to this video.
It's a little on the nose that this bill became available on the same day. Now, they keep using the word the department. As of right now, there's no department responsible for detaining you or putting you away or whatever it is that they're deciding they're going to do with you. There's no department available to do that. So they're probably going to establish a new department, if you will. A new group of guys, a new group of women that are going to put people away who are deemed dangerous to society or health hazard to society, if you will. Again, guys, I'm going to put the PDF.
So you see, man, they're going to make it a thing to where if you don't take this vaccine, man, you're pretty much a threat to society, man. These anti-maxers, all right? Anyone that speaks against the vaccines, all right? You're going to pretty much label you a terrorist, And still watching this situation with this Nashville, Tennessee bombing, all right? Because knowing and understanding that persecution of the saints is coming, all right? That's prophesied, And the time being that brothers, mothers are going to turn against daughters, fathers against sons, all right? The division is gonna come, and it's gonna come heavy, So these are things to prepare yourself for, man, and get your mind ready for it.
In the description section below. The next thing you need to look out for is the food crisis. Now, I said in my last video, or a couple videos ago, that the food crisis wasn't here yet, that we have time to prep. We still have time to prep, guys, but keep prepping. The food crisis is going to be something, nothing short of a nightmare come next year for a lot of people. And some of us won't feel it, and some of us will. You got to keep that in mind, guys. Not everybody's going to experience the food crisis the same way. It took...
there's already a food crisis in some places, and to an extent, some places are feeling it, and some places aren't. But it will get to a point where everyone is going to feel this famine. The UN predicted that this looming food crisis, all right, for 2021, all right, because there is going to be famine. You know,
A couple weeks to figure that out.
let me get this. Where's that at? That second, just this 15th chapter. All right, and this is going to cause people to really bug out. Starvation. Second Ezra 15 and verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." All right. So when all hell is breaking loose out here on all angles, including famine. All right. You know, just like they show in the movies, man, people linking up and traveling, looking for food, looking for resources. All right. You know, something that the apostles, the elders, and all the men of down have been talking about for years, man. Cannibalism is coming back on a major scale, man. You know, when you read all the way down, jump all the way down to the where's this at? Second Ezra 15 and 57. All right, it says, "Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. That they may be in the mountains shall they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger and eat their own flesh." So you see, people, man, it's gonna get so bad out here. Well, let me read on. It says, "And they eat their own flesh and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water." So you see that lack of bread, and for tribulation, man. All right, it's gonna get so bad, man. There's not gonna be none to eat. All right, and people are gonna resort to cannibalism, eating one another. All right, and when there's no one around to eat, all right, people are gonna start eating themselves. They're gonna start taking chunks out of their own flesh, drinking their own blood, man. All right, this famine, man, because there's been famines throughout history, all right, throughout time, but this famine is gonna be the worst famine ever. All right, so another one of those things, man, to look out for this. A lot of people have been talking about it. This looming food crisis and this looming famine, all right, that is prophesied, that lines up according to prophecy, that lines up according to the scriptures, all right, and that's also going to be part of the curses that a lot of these jakes, when you read in Deuteronomy 28, cannibalism is a part of the curses. A lot of these jakes are going to fall up under that curse, all right, and to the elect, man, they're not going to have to worry about these things because, as I keep mentioning, somehow, some way, the Lord's going to provide for his elect. They're going to eat. They're going to drink. They're going to be all right, man. All right. But the looming food crisis, the famine, is that lines up according to prophecy.
Out because here in New York City, it's fine. It's good. We got food on the shelves. Prices are going up. That's another problem that we're going to start seeing. Prices are going up, but we also have plenty of food here. But there are other states that are reporting that they're seeing less on their shelves.
And also on another note, because the fact that they're printing more and more money. All right, they're constantly printing this money. That's going to lead to hyperinflation. Because I don't know if you've been paying attention. Well, at least we're out here where I'm at. Noticing a little spike in certain prices like gas is starting to go up, certain foods and things of that nature are starting to go up. All right, because pretty soon, man, a gallon of milk, they're printing so much money, which is going to cause a dollar collapse. All right, they're printing all this money, right? Um, you know, again, it's gonna cause hyperinflation. So soon that gallon of milk, man, it's gonna be shit, man. A gallon of milk, man, it's gonna run you about soon, man. It's gonna run you. It could run you anywhere. It could be whatever, man. It could run you like $50 for a gallon of milk, $100 for a gallon of milk. All right, that's how worthless money is going to become. And again, this is what's going to cause a lot of this stuff to come to pass, because ain't nobody paying $50 for a gallon of milk. Nobody's paying $100 for a gallon of milk. So this is what, again, this is going to cause even more hell and more chaos. All right, and that's going to further even more the famine even more. All right, got different things like a lot of these truck drivers, which they play a crucial role in providing the supplies to these store chains and whatnot. A lot of them are going on strike. A lot of them are going to start going out of business and things of that nature. All right, so all the pieces to the puzzle is coming together, little by little. And it's, Yahweh Shemel Shah is orchestrating this perfectly and beautifully.
But not that they're not seeing anything. When you stop seeing shit for a week or two at a time, then there's a problem. So as of right now, we're good, but that is going to be something to track and keep in mind of in 2021. So the other problem that they are starting to see right now that the food banks here in New York City keep talking about is there are more people online and there's less food to give away. Those two combinations are disastrous.
Yeah, like I just the precept I just brought out. All right, Second Ezra 15, right? Because of the lack of bread and for tribulation. Because eventually, man, these food banks, man, like you said, man, these food banks, man, eventually, man, these lines are going to get longer. These lines are going to get longer and longer. All right. And they're going to have less and less food to give, And that makes me think of something like, what's the movie called? The Hunger Games, right? Where eventually, man, you're going to start, they're going to start rationalizing food and supplies and things of that nature. And that's what took place during the first shutdown. All right, because these freaking idiots buying up all the toilet paper and stuff like that. All right, so they started rationalizing how much items per family, all right, per household that people can get. There was a limit to how many, what people can get and things of that nature. That's going to come back on a major scale, and again, that's going to cause more seditions and riots and things of that nature. All right, and when that takes place, you're going to have, because I told my wife this, man. Soon, man, don't be surprised, man. All right, because when you go to these stores during the first lockdown, when you went to these stores, you had the in-store employees, directing traffic and things of that nature. Well, soon they're going to be replaced by the military. All right. I told my wife, man, hey, don't be surprised when when you see a military man policing these food stores, these store chains and whatnot, because that's again, that's just how bad it's going to get. All right, they're going to bring the military in,
They're receiving less food. The food banks are receiving less food, and there are more people showing up on lines because they're losing their jobs. This next variant could very well put NYC in a new lockdown. Now, the California government is already talking about a new lockdown.
And I believe that out there in New York, they said sometime, I don't know if he did a follow-up video or a follow-up on this, but out there he said, I think it was Andrew Cuomo, he said that after the holidays, because again, as I keep mentioning, they know people are going to defy the orders and come together and for the holidays and things of that nature. So he said out there in New York, man, they're going to go on a complete lockdown. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen like if he done any follow-up interviews or whatever, but from my understanding, he said they're going to, after the holidays, they were going on a complete shutdown to supposedly stop this, spread of this new strain, but we'll see.
Because of this new variant. One guy tested positive, but I know how it works, guys. If one guy has it and it's very contagious, that means more people have it. That's That makes logical sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. So, with that being said, the next lockdowns are going to put more strain on the food banks because more people are going to show up because more people are undoubtedly going to lose their jobs. So, the food crisis.
And like I've mentioned in previous videos, man, it's not a matter of if, but when they shut this place down again, all right, expect a complete economy collapse. All right, because just look at the damage that the first collapse, the first lockdown did. All right, many businesses, devastated. Many, all these, people losing their jobs. All right, and they're about to start evicting people. All right, it's just all a recipe for disaster.
This is something you need to track and you need to.
Which I'm not saying that, because I'm not saying that with grief. All right, you know, I rejoice at the fall of this place of America. I'm happy. I wasn't saying that in grief. Just to put that out there.
Keep putting food away in case you're one of those people that lose their jobs. The stock market. The stock market is something we need to be watching carefully. Again, guys, with another lockdown coming, whether it's next month or 2 months from now, with another lockdown coming, it's going to decimate America's financial system if another lockdown comes down. With us continuing to print money for these relief packages and no talk about payment in sight, the value of the dollar keeps dropping. Again, with businesses going out and no one's spending.
And that's controlled, by the way. All right. Concerning this dollar collapse. All right. That the elites, they want that because that's what's going to usher in the. Let me go ahead and get it. A new way of a completely new system and a new way of payments and things of that nature. All right. Because this is why when you read this Revelations 13 and 16, it says, and he calls it all. So you see, Islam, and they're going to cause something. They're going to do something to where everyone basically has to get down with this new world order, because that's what you're witnessing, a transition into the old way of doing things into this new way of doing things. All right, this whole beast system, and everything being digitalized, right? No more paper money, no contact. All right, everything's moving towards a digitalized, and that's all being strategically set up. And again, with this whole dollar collapse, this looming dollar collapse, because like I mentioned earlier, they keep printing this money. It's gonna cause the dollar to collapse. All right, which is what they want, because they want to make room for this right here, which I'm reading, Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, and notice how, because again, going back to the first shutdowns, the first lockdown, what happened? A lot of the middle class businesses were taken out. All right, and that's the goal. They want to take away the middle class. There's no in between. It's going to be the rich and the poor. You're either going to follow one of the two categories. All right, because again, this is all strategically set up, man. So that's why, again, it says both small and great, rich and poor. There's no middle class. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, which is the RFID microchip. All right. When you go to that word mark, went over this time in and time out. The charagma, all right, which the root word goes back to charax, which is going to be the instrument used, the tool used in implanting this mark, the charagma, the charax, all right, and the root word there goes back to grapho, all right, which is pretty much like the database, because all your information is going to be in that chip. You know, they're gonna be able to track and control everything. You know, there's not gonna be no hiding from the government or anything like that. All right, everything's gonna be tracked. It's gonna be controlled. All right, they're gonna be able to mark your see your every move. You know, and this is the goal, man. You know, all roads lead to the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. All right.
Because you can't, because there's nowhere for you to go. Businesses are shutting down, so they're crumbling, they're collapsing. There's no jobs, more people out of work. The financial system is going to take a toll. How many more people can we keep sending stimulus checks to? How much more relief can we keep sending out? The stock market is something that you're going to need to start watching closely and start understanding. I'm still trying to understand it because it's going to be something that's going to affect us all. Whether you lose your job or not, the stock market is going to affect you. So keep track of that. The next thing we are going to start seeing, but probably not right away, probably later in the year, is something called the new segregation. The new segregation is going to be people who are going to be outed for not taking the vaccine. People who don't wear a mask. People who don't think COVID is real. This is going to start a new segregation amongst those who believe it's real, who believe the vaccine is the lifesaver, and who wear a mask. We are already seeing it in small doses here and there. People who don't wear a mask are getting screamed on, yelled at, kicked out of stores. People who don't take the vaccine are...
So you see, man, because if you've been paying attention, man, um, you know, man, people, man, they've been there's been fights breaking out. You know, with, maskers and people who don't believe in that wearing that damn mask. All right, that division. You know, the Egyptian against Egyptian. All right, that's the division that the Lord is setting in place. All right, because again, you know, they're going to set up to where anyone that doesn't believe in wearing or taking the vaccine, you're basically going to be deemed a threat to society, man, and public health. All right, you know, and with that, man, you know, again, you know, because hey, man, like the scriptures say, mother against daughter, you know, and I'm gonna play that out. I'm gonna play it out, and I'm gonna get that precept.
soon going to experience that as well. But we're not going to start seeing that till the end of the year because the public, as of right now, is not taking the COVID vaccine. Healthcare workers and first responders are. I'm not taking it. So now, whatever consequences comes from that, I'll see. But as of right now, I'm not taking the vaccine. Not as of right now, I'm never taking the vaccine. Unless they're holding me down and sticking it.
You see, man, that's and the season set the dumb, man, because you know a lot of people are saying that they're not gonna take the vaccine, right? But I've told a few people, man, that I just I chat with, man. You know, it's easier to say that now when you know your back is not against the wall, all right. Pursuant to the book of Revelations, where it talks about the hour of temptation, all right. Like I just read in Revelations 13, you won't be able to conduct business in society. You won't be able to buy. You won't be able to sell. All right. Again, being that you could be deemed a threat to public health and in society, man. All right. Um, you know, you could be considered an enemy, man, to society for not taking the vaccine. You know, so what are you gonna do, man? Because like I said, man, it's easy to say that you're not gonna do these things now when your back is not against the wall. You know, and your livelihood is not being threatened. All right, because they could say, you know, hey, man, you live in a certain apartment complex, man, they could threaten you to kick you out if you don't take the vaccine. Employers are going to start requiring their employees to get vaccinated. All right, so that means that you know a lot of us are going to lose jobs, man, because if you're of the elect, man, you're not going to be a partaker of these things. You know, and that's just, you know, we're going to have to wait and see, man, because again, you know, a lot of these people are saying they're not going to take the vaccine, but again, if you're not of the elect, you're going to end up taking it. You're going to end up folding. You're going to end up succumbing to the pressure. You know.
Shit in me, I'm not taking the vaccine. But there are people who think our social freedoms should be taken away for not taking the vaccine. You had a doctor who said, and I'll put the doctor's name now, he said that those who don't take the vaccine should suffer the consequences of social freedoms.
So you see, how they try to turn the tables and make it seem like you're the bad guy for not taking that vaccine and putting that poison in you. You don't deserve. Basically, you don't deserve to live. You don't deserve your freedom. You know, that's how they're gonna set it up. And again, with that, man, you'd expect persecution. All right, because I'm not even gonna say Israelite cancer, because a lot of them are telling their congregation to get the vaccine, but more so the men of Great Millstone, they'll tell you, man, they've been telling you, don't take the vaccine. All right, so you can get more and more of an idea of who are they gonna more and so come after. Once they start persecuting the Israelites, because they're gonna come against all so-called black Hispanics, never making Indians, but even more so, man, the real men of the Lord, the real prophets. All right, which starts with the men of Great Millstone. All right.
I'm paraphrasing, but this is what he pretty much said, and I'll link the article to where he says this. He says that we shouldn't be enjoying our life if we don't take the vaccine, because we didn't want the vaccine, and fuck us.
Yeah, we don't want that poison. We don't want to sign our death warrant, because if you take the vaccine, man, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're signing the death certificate. You're pretty much committing suicide, knowing what's in that crap.
Spain is starting something similar, except for they're not doing anything other than they're writing a list down of people who are not taking the vaccine or who are refusing to take the vaccine. This is starting in Spain. This is undoubtedly going to happen here. If you don't take the vaccine, they'll just write your name down and keep you in mind. And what Spain is doing, they're going to send it to the EU so that you can't travel anywhere outside of Spain. Right? So they're already starting with their bullshit. Guys, the survival rate for COVID as of right now, and even with this new variant, is still 99.98%. So it's a 0.02% chance of you dying from it. The falsehood of people dying from COVID has been exposed. It has been proven. A guy dying on a motorcycle accident, kid getting shot, are all coming down.
Yeah, man, because like I mentioned earlier, man, on all levels, Esau is being exposed with all this crap that they're putting out there. All right. You had a nurse, I forgot where it was. I don't know if it was here in the States or somewhere else, but she pretty much got raided. I believe her home got raided because she pretty much put a video up in a hospital. Because what are they saying? They're putting the propaganda out. These hospitals are overpacked and overrun, understaffed. All right, they don't have enough beds. All right, when you go to your local hospital, man, there's nothing going on. It's business as usual. And this nurse, she recorded a video. She recorded a video inside the hospital. It was empty as shit. There was nothing going on, and they raided her house for it. I believe it was her house, or I think she got arrested, something like that. Because I was planning on doing a video on it, but I just trying to play it safe, because they're cracking down on videos, man. They're taking brothers' pages down and striking pages and stuff like that, taking videos down. All right, Lord's will, I don't get a strike for this doing this video, but we'll see one way or the other. But nevertheless, man, all right, Esau's getting exposed. Like the precept I brought out earlier with what was that, Nahum 3 and 5. They're getting exposed, man. For all their lies and all their bullshit. And like I said, this is why they're gonna this is why they're getting ready to make their moves, and they're about to move quickly. So I'll play this out. I'm gonna get one last precept.
COVID, and that's what they're dying from, because Dr. Bird said if you die with COVID in the body, you die from COVID. So if I trip and fall and hit my head right now, and I have COVID or COVID in my body, I died from COVID. But meanwhile, you guys on video watching me trip and fall and hit my head and die, but they're gonna be like, well, he had COVID. That could have been the reason why he misstepped. We have to keep in mind that the numbers of COVID deaths right now, a lot of it is false. But That's still not going to change the fact that the media is going to start segregating us and start saying, well, people who don't take the vaccine are irresponsible and should be held accountable for the spread of COVID. That's them segregating us and calling us anti-vaxxers and free riders, right? So free riders is a term where they're saying that we are free riding off the backs of those who took the vaccine. You're going to start seeing that term pop up more and more. That's going to segregate us more and more. Calling us anti-vaxxers because we don't want to take one vaccine, that's another way of segregating people, guys. It's just like the segregation of blacks and whites, except for non-vaxxers and vaxxers. Guys, keep that in mind. That's something that we should be tracking. But again,
so yeah, man, just more stuff to look out for in this year of 2021, man. Lord's will, all these things start coming to pass, man, in full effect, as the Apostle Elder Tahar coined this year, the hastening. All right, we're in the spirit of we're in the spirit of hastening. All right, Lord bringing his judgments. All right, his destruction. But just want to get this because again, just being the fact that hey man, Esau is gonna bring the squeeze, man. Life as we know it, man. Things are about to get more and more uncomfortable, because again, Esau, he's about to put the squeeze on us. Revelations 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. All right, because again, as I read in Revelations 13, Esau, he's going to cause all right, just like it says here, when you read on, it says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So you see, this hour of temptation, man, we're all going to be tempted. We're all going to be put in a position to where, we're going to have to make a choice and we're going to have to make a decision. It's going to be our integrity and our faith, holding fast that which the Lord gave us, which is his truth. All right, our belief in him, our trust in him, or are we going to basically sell our soul and bend over backwards and, pledge our allegiance to the devil? All right, being Esau Edom, because that's exactly what he is, the devil. But with that being said, man, as we continue to, inch closer and closer, as we hasten the coming of the day of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? Keep in mind, man, that, hey, man, it's not going to be it's not going to be an easy ride, man. We're all going to have to drink of this cup, man. We're all going to feel this pressure. So this is what, we all need to continue to keep on the back of our minds and pray to Yahweh Shemel Shai that he sees us through this until the very end. Lord's will, we endure this thing until the end, man, and we make it out of this. So with that, I'm going to give all credit to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shemel Shai, Brakatham to the hopefully elect. And Lord's will, I remember to put this guy, the link to his channel if you want to check it out. And if I remember to put the link concerning the New York Assembly bill, the 416 bill, in the description as well. All right, so Lord's will, you edified, and until next time, Lord's will, I say shalom.